Hi everyone, welcome. I am Brandy. I will be with you along on this journey to help support you. I have one of my co-hosts here is Bentley. Say hi, Bentley. Hi. Sorry, he likes to sit on the desk over here and look out the window, so sometimes he'll climb in my lap, so you may or may not see him throughout the episodes. But yes, so welcome. So my question to you is, what did you bring to drink to this? I brought tea as usual. So what did you bring to drink? I what are you drinking? What kind is it? So if you're drinking coffee, what kind of coffee you're drinking? How do you take your coffee? How do you take your tea? Juice, if you're bringing juicing, what did you bring? Water, how do you take your water? Is it just plain water? Um, Me, I have what we call it's called Lover's Leap. It is from Stephen Smith. It's a tea company out of Portland, Oregon. It's really good. It's one of my favorites. I have a few favorites. It's one of Stephen Smith is one of them. This is their Valentine's Day tea. We just have some leftover, but it's really neat what they've done. They have a lot number on the box, so you can actually go to their website and key in the lot number to see where the ingredients came from. So that's really good and really important too, especially um, going on this journey. You want to know what you're putting in your body. So that is um, definitely a good thing. Also, we'll get more into that later when a few episodes when we start talking about nutrition and everything. Life Survivor, this mug, I'll probably have a different mug every week. Life Survivor, my mugs always have some kind of story behind them. This one in particular. So when we were getting off the ground with Willow Haven, my mom and I, we would do cancer events. So because we support all types of cancers, this one was the Get Your Rear in Gear. It is a race series, like race for running series for that raises awareness and money for cancer. And we were at the event there set up with a table. There was another table there with a company called, Life Survivor. And with what we did, they were gracious enough and they gave us two mugs. Life Survivor, so two different color mugs. So this is one of them. So yes, colon cancer is also something that is also in our family. As we go through the episodes, you'll learn I have a lot of relationships with different types of cancers. Colon cancer is one of them. My aunt on my father's side of the family had fought a battle with colon cancer. And then my mom on her side of the family, I had my grandfather and my great grandfather both had colon cancer as well. So it is definitely something I do raise awareness for, and I'm aware of, and would like people to be aware of. It can definitely sneak up on you. I guess just about any cancer can definitely sneak up on you. So yes. Anyways, so today we were talking about I was diagnosed with cancer. Now what? We're going to talk, it's a two-part series. We're going to talk about the medical aspect of it today. So what do you do when you go in with that first diagnosis and the doctor tells you have cancer? Now, granted, every doctor handles it differently. I'm sure things are a lot different now from when we first went through it. My mom, when she was diagnosed, we had the doctor's appointment. I know there's a lot, things have changed a lot. This was back in January of 2006. So it was almost 20 years ago when she was originally diagnosed. So I know that now they have the medical chart online. a lot of times your results are posted there before you even talk to your doctor. So a lot of doctors handle it differently. So just, I know that it's, you can read these words and it can be really scary. I remember when I had my scare about a year ago, we were like, even though the pathologist during my surgery looked at it and said it was benign, there's still always that small chance, human error, right? And so my husband was constantly looking on the medical chart for that for the lab results to make sure that 100% it was benign, with my surgery. So I know that, we have the technology nowadays to get that information a lot quicker, and before we even hear from the doctors as well. But so you go to the doctor's office. Some doctors won't even mention the C word. It depends. And the question is what do you do? We were very lucky with my mom's oncologist. She, first thing, she walked in, she was like, I don't know about you, but my goal is disease free. That was the first thing that she said to my mother, and it set the tone. It set the tone for her whole treatment. It set her mental tone. And she said, the battle is 90% mental, which I totally agree with. You have to have your head set straight. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help you. How do you do that? How do you get that stress away from you and just help it react and respond to help you with your treatment, to your body? I feel like the less stressed you are, the better that you respond to your treatment, or your body can help heal itself. So that's what we're here for. So first of all, you got to figure out what kind of treatment and doctor do you want. Do you want to do strictly conventional medicine where you take the chemo, take the steps that they want? Do you want to do a naturalized, so all alternative, no conventional? Do you want to do integrative medicine? You've got to figure out, do you want a mixture of that? So it's, what do you want a mixture of it? So what do you want? You don't have to answer right then and there at the doctor's office. It's just a thought to keep in mind when you're, after the fact. So a lot of people, they do integrative. Sometimes you have to do integrative. Sometimes you're going to have to do the conventional, depending on where your cancer is sitting, where you're. That's Bentley. He's putting. It's all right. Sorry, it's okay. He sees another donkey outside. So, but you have to sit there and, sometimes you have to do both. You'll have to do one or the other. Sometimes you're going to have doctors that say, we can't do anything for you. Then you have to have the mindset. Do you want to fight? Do you, and go an alternative way? Other times you're going to have doctors, like, you have to do this. But keep in mind, whatever you decide, there are some doctors are starting to get used or through the idea and going the integrative medicine route, where they believe in both conventional and alternative medicines. But there's still a lot of doctors out there that do not believe in the alternative medicine, and they will not talk to you about it. And that's okay. You have to decide what you want with that. There's going to be doctors that they won't talk to you about it, and they'll just tell you, well, keep doing whatever you're doing. There's some doctors that will say, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z. There's other doctors that will also put you in with a doctor that, bring in a doctor that believes in integrative medicine. So, which is, my mom's oncologist believed in integrative medicine. Her radiation oncologist at the time didn't quite believe in integrative medicine. I think now he is more towards that. He definitely supports what we do with the spa and working on helping people to relax for them to better respond to medicine, to the and for their body to heal. So it's, every doctor is going to be different. Also, too, make sure when you go to a doctor's appointment, even if the initial one, if there's a slight chance that you might think that they're going to tell you have cancer, make sure you have someone with you, someone you trust, someone who is going to ask questions. Why? Because once they tell you that you have cancer, your mind's going to go in so many different directions. You're going to tune out what the doctor says. I know this from personal experience. I've seen my mom go through it. I even somewhat went through it myself, but because I had went through this with my mom, when I went through it and there was a possibility that mine may have been cancerous, I didn't really have any questions to ask because I already knew the process. So even though we were looking at it was more than likely benign what I had, but there's always that small possibility that you never know. So yes, make sure you have someone with you that you trust, that knows, that is going to ask the right questions. They're going to take in what you say, also what the doctor says, because when you think about when you're at work and you're sitting in a meeting and your coworker, you're sitting there, you come out of that meeting and you're sitting there and you're talking about what was said in the meeting. So you grab something completely different than what your coworker did. And so you're taking in and listening to what your coworker said, and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think of it that way, or I didn't even hear that. So they're still going to get information that you didn't hear. So having at least two people there, at least yourself and someone else, you're going to be able to get more out of what the doctor is saying. Now, granted, I'll tell you, my mom's doctors were amazing. Each of her consultations with all of her doctors, we were in there for an hour and a half. They wanted to make sure we understood. We had all of our questions answered. And then when we left, they were like, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us or email us or reach out. And they were amazing. They were her added support team with us. So yes, just make sure you have answers and make sure you are comfortable with your doctor. If you are not comfortable with your doctor, you need to find another doctor, because you're not going to heal. You're not going to get through this process without a doctor that you're comfortable with and that you trust. So yes. Also, on that note, don't hesitate to get a second opinion. If you feel like, hey, you know what, like, I need a second opinion on this. Like, there's something about it that just doesn't feel right. It doesn't. Get a second opinion. It's okay. And guess what? If that doctor says the same thing as your first doctor said and you like the first doctor, go back to him. At least you know he was right. Possibly, because there's cases out there, people have gone to third and fourth opinions. It wasn't until like the fifth doctor they got to that actually diagnosed them correctly. But again, if you feel like you just need a second opinion or even a third, there's nothing wrong with that. Remember, just because a doctor diagnoses you with something doesn't always mean, one, that they're correct, because we're human, and two, they work for you. You don't work for them. You're paying them. Your insurance company is paying them. So you need to make sure you're getting what you pay for. Okay? So don't hesitate. It's okay to get a second opinion. Now, my mom, she was originally diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. It had, she went in remission. And then about 4 or 5 months later, it had came back and spread to her brain. And I remember when she went in, her oncologist was amazing. My mom had talked about how she got inner ear infections like head colds. And like, as soon as she said that, I remember that appointment, she was sitting there and her oncologist was examining her, and my mom didn't see it, but I saw it. The look on her oncologist's face said everything. That concerned her. Because, with lung cancer, it's when it comes back, it's going to come back either in your head or to your bones, or both, most of the time. And so she was concerned. So she started getting my mom MRIs, ordering my mom MRIs. So, I think it was like the second or third one that my mom had was when they had found the brain tumors, when they had come back. I remember my mom went one day, it wasn't even 24 hours, her radiologist, oncologist was calling her. And we had an appointment at like 8 the next morning to come in. When we walked in, he had already spoke to the neurologist, had a plan set. My mom just had to choose which way she wanted to go. And then he said, he had the plan set. And then he looked at us and said, you can get a second opinion if you want to. But if you decide to get a second opinion, at the time, this was in May of 2007, at the time, there was only one neurologist in the city that we lived in that specialized in brain tumors. And he told us that, and he said, you need to go to Duke University. We were in Charlotte. And he said, you need to go to Duke University. That's the closest place where there's a neurologist that specializes in brain tumors. And I looked at him, and my mom agreed with me. And I looked at him and I said, you got my mom in remission from stage 4 lung cancer. Why would we need a second opinion? Because at that point, we had built such a relationship with her doctors. We trusted them. They gave me my mom when my mom had a 7% chance of survival rate within the first year. And they gave her to me. So you think I'm going to question any other decision they make after that for my mom and what's best for my mom? No, absolutely not. Like, we built that relationship. So that's what I mean by feel comfortable with your doctors, but also too, don't hesitate to get a second opinion if you want. But also too, it's okay to feel, no, I don't need one. And guess what? They put my mom right back in remission after that. So yes, her doctor's amazing. Also too, that goes to listen to your gut. Make sure if something doesn't feel right, if it feels off with the doctor or with what the doctor's saying, or even with your treatments, like, go listen to your gut, follow your gut. It will not mislead you. If your gut is telling you, you know what, don't do the conventional therapy, do alternative therapy, do it, go for it, get your mindset and do it. Make sure you have the right people surrounding you. If your gut tells you, you know what, I need to take this chemotherapy or I need to do the conventional medicine, go for it. There's nothing wrong. Listen to your gut. Your gut's telling you what your body is going to help you with. Listen to it and go with it. If the doctor doesn't feel right, find another doctor. And that even goes with your circle of people who are supporting you. If it doesn't feel right, get rid of them. And then, don't let them around you, or limit your time around them. When I say get rid of them, limit your time around them, because you don't need the negativity right now, because this is all about you. And this is the time for you to be selfish. Also, I heard another cancer patient talk about that they give 3 days. They sit on a decision for 3 days before they make a decision. I think that's really good advice. Because in a sense, if you think about it, when you have a decision to make and you can't decide what you want to do on something, even if it's like, how do you want to arrange your room, or what pictures do you want to put up? you sit there and you think about it, and you're like, oh, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I found that even when I go off and I just kind of put it in the back of my mind and I'd go do something else, and whether it's go have fun, go work on another project or something, and if I sleep on it, then I come up with this really cool idea. I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is the answer. Like, this is what I want to do. This will work. Um, and so that's, same thing with your treatment. Sleep on it for a few days, talk it over with a few people that you trust in your inner circle, and decide what do you want to do, what's going to work for you. Now, I will say this, I know there's always that one case that you go to the doctors and you're never going to they're going to have to work on it right away, and you like that emergency, like, we need to get you in surgery right now, we need to do so and so, like, or you need to, that's sometimes you have to, if you need to go with that, go with that, that's fine. Because at that point that might be the only option you have, but at the same time, to go in remission or to give you a few more years at the same time. But then too, a lot of times when you're there at the appointment and they're like, okay, well, let's go ahead and get you set up for, schedule your appointments for, so, your infusion or more tests or whatever they want to do, that's fine. Go ahead and set those appointments, because guess what? You can always cancel them if you decide you don't want to do it. If you set them up and then go home, think on it for 3 days, or even if it takes 1 day or 2 days, if you sleep on it that night and the next day you're like, oh, this is what I need to do, that's fine. Like, then you can, if you decide I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to go this route, then you can call and cancel the appointment, but give it 3 days, give it a few days, give it 3 days, sleep on it, and help you decide, like, is this what I want to do? Because that also will allow you to process everything, especially finding out you just got cancer. So that'll help you go through that process. Like, that first night you're going to go through it, the second, third night, like, you'll start getting adjusted to the fact that you have cancer, and what do you want to do, how do you want to do this, and your body will tell you, your mind will tell you, listen, it's okay, and there's no wrong way to do this. And remember, you're not alone. We will support you. I hope that I will be an added support for you, but if nobody else is around, then I will be your support. It is okay. I am here for you because I get it and I understand. It is important to have somebody there in your corner cheering you on, saying, you do what you feel you need to do. I'm right here with you, supporting you. Okay? All right, guys. Remember, any changes you make, though, always refer to your doctor. I'm not giving medical advice, by no means. You need to do what's best for you, and only you can answer that. Okay? So there's no wrong decision, as long as that's something you want to do and you support it yourself. All right? So until then, any comments made, please be kind. People are going through a tough time. Also, enjoy your tea, coffee, whatever you're drinking. Enjoy your day, your week, and I will see you next week under the willow tree. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this with someone if you feel that they can get something out of it. All right. And next week, part 2, we're going to talk about the self-care aspect of it. All right. Until then, be safe.